Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go ahead and install the Goose Gear Plate system with 100% delete. We're going to demo the Jeep. I've got a brand new 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon diesel. We're going to pull the seats out of it and the rear carpet prepared for install. This is the 60% delete side. You can see it's got the two compartments. It's a little wider than the 40% delete side. 40% delete side also has two compartments. You can see they've assembled it with the 80/20 extrusion. Lots of fasteners. You can see the billet liner overspray on the back where they lined it. These actually came out of another Jeep, my 18 JLUR. They're in really good shape. They've held up really well. I don't have any complaints about this product. I can't wait to install it again. Minor blemishes. I don't even know if I can focus on it, but there's like a tiny chip on the paint for that latch. That's about all I got to show you as far as wear and tear on it. Everything else is held up really well. I weighed these. This side weighs 20.8 pounds on the 60%. This 40% weighed in at about 17 pounds. And the plate system in the back weighed in at 20 pounds. So add that together with a little hardware, the spare tire tool cover. This thing is pretty lightweight, doesn't weigh anything at all. I think all of this together, I'm just going to round it up to about 60 pounds for these three pieces. I'm going to weigh the rear seats when I pull them out of the Jeep and see what the weight difference is, whether I've added or subtracted. I think I'm actually going to subtract weight by removing these rear seats and the D-rings and hardware and carpeting and so forth from the back. But the seats are really heavy. I remember taking them out of the 18 JL, and I'm going to weigh them later, see what they weigh in at, and see if it's maybe a net zero, or maybe I save some weight, or maybe I add some. We don't know yet. But we're going to get started. Let's see if I can get this camera in here. The first thing we're going to do, I've already removed the floor mats, factory floor mats from the Jeep. This is just the carpeting underneath. This is going to stay here. You could take it out. It helps absorb some of the sound and road noise and so forth. First thing we're going to do is remove the front bolts from these rear seats on the cushion side. Once we have these two front bolts removed, we're going to be able to actually flip this seat up and give us some more working space in there so we can remove the bolts in the back. I'm just going to use a 3/4 or 3/8 drive on this bolt. See if we can get it to break loose. These are seat bolts. Should take a little bit of force. That's one. Once we have those two bottom seat bolts out from the front here, they've been removed. Both of these, we should be able to get a little extra work room here. You can just lift that seat right up. It's going to give you better access to the other bolts that we need to remove to get these seat assemblies out. Take note of how the seat belts are assembled. It's your buckle assembly there. Bolts onto the side of the 60% seat. You'll need to know that when you go to put it back together. Now that we've got the seat out of the way, I just used a basic tripod to extend the legs and hold the seat cushion up while I work on it. We're going to go ahead and take out this side bolt right here that holds the seat belt. I'm just going to use a 5/8 to remove this one. All these could be done in metric as well. I think these bottom seat bolts are probably like an 18 or 19. that's off, we're going to go ahead and get these bottom bolts out as well. This can be tough. This carpeting is going to come out when you put your plate system in the back, so you can go ahead and remove that if you want to, get it out of the way. Not quite ready. There it goes. Get an extension. There's some workspace. Now that we've got all four of the front bolts removed, there and there, we've got the buckle removed, the 40% side we'll be able to slide off of there, remove that. We've got two more in the back here that we need to get to in the cargo area. You can see the remaining bolts back here. We're just going to move around and take those off as well. We're just gonna recline the seat, give us some more space to access that last bolt over there. Try not to knock over any wires or lights. There we go. Should be able to get that out nice and easy. We've got one last nut left to remove before we can pull out the 40% seat. It's located right here, and that's the one that holds the 40% to the 60%, just to keep things stable. We're going to use a 13mm on this one. Fits really snug. Put that back in your bag for safekeeping with your other bolts. Quick software update for the GoPros. Problem. Not today. Let's try that update again. I accept. So far we removed the carpet that goes underneath the back of the seats. We pulled these off earlier, just removed that, set it aside for now. We're also going to remove the floor cover, which should slide out. Pull backwards on it. It comes right out. This reveals the storage tub and just the basic floor underneath the Jeep. This is sound insulating pad, produces NVH, noise, vibrations, and harshness. We're going to remove these caps off of these bolts. The D-rings are attached with the bolts. It reveals the bolts. We can remove those, take all the D-rings out. We're going to remove all 6. Just like that, our 40% side is out. Just to recap, we had these 2 bolts down here, so that was 2. We had these two bolts back here and here, so that was 4. We actually removed this bolt from the 60% side. We didn't need to remove that to get the seat out on the 40, so that was an extra. We actually removed this nut right here and removed these other 2 nuts as well. So we had a total of 3, skip that one, 4, 5, 6, 7 fasteners to remove to get the 40% side out. I think this should really be metric. Try using the 18 or 19 millimeter with that. Let's just see if this will work. It does. It's working. This is something new for the 21 that I didn't see on my 18. It's got a shock here, seat assist shock, to make it easier to lift up and down, take some of the weight off of it. Another seat belt bolt back here. Take note of how these are configured when you go to put it back together. Another over there. This one might need an impact. There we go. I went out of the store and picked up a breaker bar, and a proper socket for this is it is an 18 millimeter. Went ahead and got a 12 point, and making quick work of it. And it's out. £56.4. Whoops. $30.8. So just between the 40% and the 60% side of the seats, these are 56 and 30 pounds for a total of 86 pounds combined. The Goose Gear system, the 100% delete all three pieces, is only 60 pounds. So it's actually going to be weight savings on this modification, which is kind of rare. All right, so we've got the 60 and 40% side of the seats out. We've been saving the bolts so far in a bag somewhere. We're going to need them for the install for the plate system. We're going to also replace the bolts from the seat mounts. For instance, this hole is now empty. You can see straight through. That creates noise, and wind comes into your cabin while you're driving, so we need to put those bolts back in, tighten those down so that we can plug those holes. These bolts here are going to help with the install of the plate system. So this will go through the Goose Gear plate system, which you'll see in just a minute. Next thing we're going to do is just grab you a flathead screwdriver. We're going to take these plastic caps off these bolts. These tie downs are going to be removed with a, I believe it's a T40 Torx. Some might call it a star tool. Here's the difference. This is an Allen and this is a Torx. That's the difference between those two bits. That is the shape of a star, so we know it's a Torx. And it fits right down under nice and snug. We're just going to go through and break all these loose real quick. And put the drill on them and zip them out. Most of them are pretty snug tight as it is. One, two, three, six. Once you get those loose, this whole carpet piece will slide right over there. And then your plate system is going to install in these holes. We're not going to use these bolts again. We're going to save these, store them away. Goose Gear supplies the bolts for these. Alright, we've got our cargo tray and tie downs out of the back. We've got our carpet strip out. We've got our bolts reinstalled where the seats used to go. We've got our bolts lined up ready for the plate system install. I'm going to show you in a second. There's some brackets that go here. We're going to use these to tighten down the brackets. Floor mats are out and the plate system's ready to go in. These are the brackets that hold down the Goose Gear plate system. So when you receive yours, these brackets will just be in a bag. So imagine these as a seat. This is the seat back and this is the cushion. You'd be looking forward as you sit in the Jeep. So this will be the front of the Jeep and this will be the cargo area in the back. These certs right here are where the plate system bolt down to, 1, 2, 3, and then the 40% side has 1, 2. So just like this, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. Those are the 5 tie downs. So you put the 2 plate systems in first, and then the rear plate system goes on top of that to tie them all together. Now that we got the 2 seat delete pieces in 1640, we're going to go ahead and remove these hatches so we can see what's going on underneath. Kind of see how this starts to come together. So these bolt holes aren't exactly aligned. This piece is adjustable. So on the other side there are these bolts. We'll just loosen these just a little bit, and this plate will slide back and forth so we can adjust it properly. So when you're installing these, all 3 of these pieces, the 60/40 and the plate system, all kind of work in unison. So you might have to shift them side to side or front and back to get them to all line up before the bolts all drop right in. These bolts should not be tightened down so far that, you know, you can't turn them with a wrench anymore. They're not made like that. You just want to have them hand tight. That's all they really need. You do want to check on them every now and then. They will rattle loose on rough roads and things. That one's loose now. You can see how those are starting to line up a little bit. Alrighty. gonna leave this loose for now until we get everything lined up. You do need a set of Allen drivers or just an Allen wrench. It's better to do it by hand. Don't use power tools on these bolts. Like I said, they're pretty tender. You don't want to strip them out of that wood. See how we're looking on this side. Oh, those are nice. There we go. Just a little shift. Probably get a bolt in there. You can also purchase infills from Goose Gear. There's a piece of wood that goes here, bolts into this 80/20 right here, and creates another layer of privacy and security for your personal belongings. If anybody were to open your rear door, they wouldn't just be able to reach in here and grab anything. There'd be a wall here. For these L brackets, I did have to drill through this wood panel. They did not come pre-drilled. You kind of just need to line it up where you need it, and then mark it and drill it yourself. So everybody's may fit just a little bit differently. I think the nuts on this plate system are an 11. Yeah, that's an 11. Just hold this side tight while you use a Allen wrench on top. This is a 5/32 Allen, and the nut on the bottom is going to be an 11 millimeter. Just hold that steady. Again, just hand tight. Don't want to get too crazy. That's fine right there. This is just a plate that holds the 60 and the 40 together in the center. Feel it pulling on the bottom. That's good for now. Nice solid fit. Last time I took this out, I think I may leave it in and try it this way. I don't know. We'll give that some thought. See what happens. See, it lines up with the factory bolt holes from those tie downs very nicely. This is what needs adjustment. You can see these are not aligned. It's a little better. Probably need to move this back. I'm gonna go grab our hardware for the plate system, start dropping in some bolts. These long bolts for the plate system are going to be 5 millimeter. The stainless bolts that connect the seat deletes and the plate system are going to be 4 millimeter. Oh, I need a washer. Oops, wrong bolt. We're going to leave that really loose right now. We don't want to tighten that down all the way. Washer, bolt. 5mm Allen. See how the plate's moving while I move that bolt around? Just gonna leave that loose. That one's sort of well aligned. Washer, bolt, 5mm. That's better. Washer, bolt, 5mm. Washer, bolt, 5mm. So this bolt is all the way to the left of this bolt hole. So this bolt is all the way to the left of this bolt hole. So I really want to push this whole platform just a little to the left to align that just a bit. That's better. I'm not going to tighten it down, just leave it loose. That's better. I'm not going to tighten it down. Washer. Bolt. Washer. Bolt. You can tell how well aligned the plate is by how easily the bolts thread in. Now let's give it just a little bit of resistance. I may have shifted it too far left. I'll leave that right there for now. Washer, washer, ball down here, washer, and washer. What I'm doing here is just I've got one hand on the platform and I'm just moving it back and forth as I need to. You can see those bolts start to move. You'll find that sweet spot where it doesn't give you any more resistance. That's where it needs to be. Once you get all these lined up nice, you can start to tighten down these seat belt bolts again. You can start to tighten down these bolts that connect the two platforms, and everything else will be in place. We've already got the 6 bolts in the plate system in the back. These bolts fell in nicely. Once you get this all aligned, move this around by hand until the bolts line up, and then you just put these in snug by hand. We'll go down and just give them a quick quarter turn of a ratchet driver here in a minute. We go back to these rear ones. Again, these are 5mm. Start to tighten these down a little further. Now that the front bolts are in place, I don't want it to move. Just starting to give a little resistance. That's about all it needs. This one's still got a ways to go. You can see the gap underneath there. You see the washer starting to move. You can see it pulling the plate system down right here. Starting to give a little resistance. That's it. I can hear it creaking. Resistance. That's it. This one's still got a little ways to go. Little resistance. I think that's about it. That's it for those. Little resistance. That's it. Same for these. Again, these stainless connect the plate system to the seat deletes. There's 5 of them across here. They are 4mm Allen head. Tight. Loose. Tight. That's it. This has a nylock nut on the back of the bolt. And nylock nuts put up a little bit of resistance. You just want to get those real snug. That's nice. Let's double check these. And this one. Those are great. You remember earlier we loosened these Allen nuts right here so we could shift this board back and forth to make it line up with the seatbelt bolts. Now that we've got the bolts tightened down, we're ready to tighten these Allen bolts back down as well. You want them to be pretty snug. They will vibrate loose during road travel and especially off-road with the vibrations. Can't see this one. Just kind of flying blind back here. Just want to tighten it down a bit more. Be the first one to rattle loose. There it goes. One click at a time. Go back around to the other side. Check and make sure these are tight as well. There it is. That one's definitely loose. Again, don't put power tools on these. Don't know the strength of the power tool. It could just rip the socket right out of the back of the wood. Just a good snug turn. Make sure they're all in there. All right, so we've got all 4 of our seatbelt bolts with the L brackets facing forward, tightened down. We've got all 4 of the insert panels here that are adjustable, tightened down where we need them. We've got the 3 fasteners, which are 1, 2, 3 on the plate system that fasten to the top of the seat delete. Those are tight. 2 more over there. Those are tight. What else we got? Those bolts over there are tight. We replaced the seatbelt bolts on the inside to plug the empty air holes, to keep fumes out, to keep air out. We got all 6 of the 5mm bolts on the plate system tightened down, and then that's it. I didn't put the spare tire cover on there this time. I did on my 18 JL. Saw somebody run it this way. Wasn't sure if it would work. It does sit a little tall in the back, but normally this would go right here and cover that up. So if I take this piece of plastic out, this will just drop right in there. And then there's 2, you notice there was 2 extra bolts earlier. They go right here, 1 and 2, to tighten this down. And then you can remove this and access your jack. My worry is that if I need to get in there and access my factory jack, which they don't perform very well, if you haven't heard, I'll need to remove the rear plate and anything on top of it. So take my fridge out, take all my belongings in my bin out, remove the 6 bolts, lift this up, and then slide this out to access the jack. So I recommend you put this in. I'm probably going to go back and undo it, but I'm just going to see how it goes for now. Goose Gear makes some great hardware as well for your attachments. This is just a bracket. You would bolt this in to the plate system, any one of these holes that are already threaded, and then you can tie down your belongings. You want to make sure everything's secured when you're traveling, not just your refrigerator, but if you have storage boxes and things, if you have an axe, if you have a chainsaw, if you have a solar generator or anything like that, make sure they're tied down while you're traveling. Goose Gear goes through a lot of pains to make sure that they sell a quality product. I talked to Brian about these. He selected these himself. He selected the materials, the thickness. He had these laser cut. He had them bent, and he had them tumbled to polish them and remove any burrs on the edges. And this is the final product. It's really nice. A lot of thought goes into their products. I use these for tie-down straps for my refrigerator. Tie-down anchors, rather. The straps are attached to the anchors and to the fridge. I think this one goes way in the back. Let's get my fridge out. There's still some blue protective cover on there from when I first bought it when they were brand new. Peel that off, should be a shiny lock cylinder under there. There is, with a fingerprint on it, some adhesive. Here's another one. You can get some measurements real quick. Once you open these latches, it goes up to the bottom of this rim. The bottom of this rim to the carpet is about 8.5 inches. Just about. Yeah, 8.5 over here. It varies, you know, the floor on the Jeep is unlevel, so if you move the tape to this side, there's not as much clearance because there's a hump right there. This side has 7.5, I think. Somewhere in there. About an inch difference. And then from right there to right there, got about 21 inches of space. So about 8.5 tall, 21 long. And you got about 14 inches from front to back here for your gear. This just has a lip here that slides in underneath there, and it drops in and it latches. It's also adjustable on the back. You can make the latch a little longer if you need extra room. This one's a little different. This is the back of the seat hump right here, so a little less space on this cabin. From the back of that hump to the wall, it's about 1 foot, 12 inches there. There it is, about 8 inches deep. Should be about the same, 21 long. Reach in there to that transmission hump again. Yeah, about 21, roughly. This compartment's just regular access to your factory storage space down here. To the rim, a little less than 6 inches, 5 3/4 roughly, space in there. But then just your regular storage space. You can still reach your arm in there to access everything. And since these lock, put that on there, latch that, and then lock this. That's a pretty secure place if you've got some valuables, if you've got some camera gear and things you want to leave in there while you go on a hike for a day or two. It's a good place to put it. Again, don't forget about the infill panels that they offer here. You can fill this space for extra privacy. That's what the locks are for. You really need the infill panels, or else somebody can just open your rear door, gain access to the side, and take your belongings here. These panels are much larger. These are about 16 by 11.5 access space, and then you probably got from that wall to that wall about 14 inches of space. Imagine it's about the same, 21 inches to the transmission hump. It is. Then about the same space back here. These latches are just larger. I put my auxiliary battery system on this side. These are reversible as well. You can access them from either side. Same space over here. Last but not least, this is a stealth camping system, so you can sleep back here. So, climb up in here, shut the gate. See how much space we have. So I'm going to start from the back of the seat. I've got this seat pushed forward, so there's some storage space back here. So I would take and put, you know, whatever back here, drinks, water jug, whatever storage you got. Put your pillows on top of that. So from the back of the seat, roughly to the gate, we're already at 64. We're at about 74 inches to the back of the gate, so about 6'2" clearance. if you want to sleep back here, stretched out, knees straight, you know, if you're a side sleeper and you sleep with the knees bent, then you could probably sleep it if you were a lot taller. A lot of people also go diagonally. It gives you some more room. Go from corner to corner. It gets this all the way out to 80, 81, 82 inches back in the corner here, so comfortably probably about 6'4". You do have access to your cup holders back here still. There's a cutout for those. Access to your, if you have a Rubicon package, your 115 volt and your plugs, window switches, and AC. That is our Goose Gear Stealth 100% delete platform. Side to side, front to back. Sorry about the glare. It's got a little bit of red dirt on it. You'll see every now and then. That's from Arrington, Virginia at Expo East. That red dirt out there stains everything. Keep your windows shut. Leave me some comments down below. If you have any questions, I'll be sure to answer them for us. You can find this product at goose-gear.com or hyphen. They don't sell direct, so use their dealer locator button and buy through a local dealer. It'll ship straight to your house. Thanks so much for watching.